That's right. You should just be happy. I hope you could at least be happy this Friday morning. 26 minutes onto the hour of 7 o'clock. This is Good Morning Grenada live on GBN TV, as well as K105.5 FM, Hot 98 FM, and of course we're live on social media as well. It's Msy.Chrissy in your company and Gary, Mr. Smooth. Good morning, Gary.
Hey, good morning to you, Missy. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
I am good. How about you?
I am wonderful. Today is Friday.
It is.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man. It's Friday. Hard to believe. Why so?
5 days.
What's that?
5 days has, 5 days have passed.
That is true.
It's gotten here so quickly. The end of the week is on us.
That means you must be having fun, and they say time flies when you're having fun.
Well, I can say there's been a whole lot of fun. Yes. I'm fortunate to involve in, things that are fun-filled for the most part.
Excellent. And of course, it will be fun-filled, informative, and entertaining this morning here on our show, Good Morning Grenada. We are going to tease those brain cells, but also give you updates on what's been happening in Grenada, the region, and the rest of the world in the morning edition of the news. We are talking about pharmacy today, and we will have a guest from the Grenada Pharmacist Association joining us to tell us a little bit about the day that they're celebrating not today, but in I think 2 days. They'll tell us a little bit about that. And in the meantime, let's give you that update from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs as it relates to COVID-19 in Grenada. This update is dated the 19th of September. 13 new confirmed cases, 6 hospitalizations, 0 new deaths, 2 new recoveries, active cases 73. All right. Now for your word of the day, misnomer. Misnomer means an incorrect name or designation. Misnomer. It can also be used to refer to the act of wrongly naming or designating, as in calling complicated or varied climatic changes global warming is something of a misnomer. All right. So let's use this in a sentence. Peanut is one of the most famous misnomers because peanuts are legumes, not true nuts. Interesting.
There you go.
I mean, okay. I wouldn't just I go leave it alone. No. I go leave it alone. No, I'm sure it's a fact, but the name is peanut as one word as compared to P space nut.
Yeah.
You understand?
So that's why it's a misnomer.
Well, you see it that way. I see it another way. But let's carry on because time is with us, Time is rolling along. No need to decipher something that's very minor and not as serious.
More like an oxymoron. Nonetheless, continue. Riddle. Let's do that. All right. Check this riddle out, guys. See if we can bust this one apart. Okay. Today is Sunday. What day of the week will it be 61 days from today? Let's assume today is Sunday. What day of the week will it be 61 days from today? I know it feels more like a math question than it is.
This is very mathematical.
Yeah, but we're waking up those brain cells. Nonetheless, hey, you think you got the answer without Googling, without doing all of that technological stuff? You can just use your God-given brain and common sense. If you think you can come up with the correct answer, hey, hit us up right about now. Let us hear from you this morning. Yeah, rushing over to the phone right about now and send us your answer. Leave whatever you're doing right about now, and let's hear how you answer, how you tackle this one.
Yeah, 435-2041. That's the number to call us. And of course, you could drop those comments if you're online. You can do that as well. Same number for the WhatsApp. Yes. That's an interesting one here.
Yeah, it is. This one is going to challenge some of you, maybe. But let's see who are the smart ones out there, all right? See if you can figure this one out.
Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
Awesome. Where are you calling us from?
Welcome.
From Guelph?
Welcome.
From Walton?
Yes.
Okay, Walton. All right. What's the answer?
Saturday.
Saturday. Why do you say it's Saturday?
Daddy figured it out.
Daddy figured it out.
I like that. Daddy figured it
Is
out.
Daddy able to break it down for us?
Yes.
Yes? He's close by?
6 weeks minus 1 day. 6 weeks minus 1 day.
6 weeks minus 1 day.
6 weeks minus 1 day.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 6 times 7. How much is 6 times 7?
I don't know.
What grade? How much?
42.
42. And then what did he say after that? Then plus how much? Well, Gary,
Well,
Gary, tell us if that's correct.
well, for what it's worth, that was a great try, but Daddy's a tidbit off.
Right? Okay.
Great try nonetheless.
All right. Thanks for trying.
Have a great day.
All right. Big up to that
Looks like the
family out
family's
there
up
in
and,
Walton.
Yeah, the family's up and about already. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because if it's 6 weeks, that's 42 plus 6, right? And so that wouldn't make sense. That's 49, not 61 days. So try again.
Yeah, so once again, the riddle is today's Sunday. What day of the week will it be? 61 days from today.
Good morning, you're live.
Morning. I just try to help correct something. The address the young lady gave is Waltham. That's the way the secondary school is in St. Mark's.
Okay, thank you.
Except the name she gave, I don't know, I think it was a store for it to understand. Except the name she gave, there is another place like that, you know.
Right, because that's what I was wondering.
So sometimes people must give an address of the parish.
Right, to help.
Yeah, to help.
So you know them then? You know who it was?
No, I don't know who it was, but what she wants, I realize Waltham. Waltham she found.
Okay, do you want to take a stab at the riddle for us?
No, I didn't even contempt. But I feel it would be
61 days from today, if today's Sunday.
6 and 2, 8 and 8 weeks and. Oh, the name, no, I wasn't able to put in what the day would be.
Okay.
So if it would be 3, it would be Thursday.
Okay. Gary, is Thursday correct?
Nope.
Nope.
It's not correct.
I didn't take time to contact.
That's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks for calling, though.
Thank you.
All right, big up yourself. Yes,
What
indeed.
you were saying with the Walton and Waltham, I'm not too sure what you were saying.
There's 2 different. He's just saying that there's 2 different places, and he wanted to correct not an N, an M for this person who called apparently.
The song similar?
Yes. Good morning, you're live.
Good morning.
Where are you calling us from?
Cheryl St. George.
From where?
Tyrrell.
Cheryl St. George.
I'm really not hearing that.
Thought I heard Tyrrell.
Hello?
St. George.
From St. George?
Yes.
Okay. What's the answer to the riddle this morning?
Friday.
Friday. How did you arrive at Friday?
I calculated that 9 times 7 is 63. And since it's Sunday, to subtract 2, you will get Friday.
Look at you.
Amazing.
Look at you. That is absolutely correct.
Congratulations. That's more mathematical than it is a riddle this morning, and all you math genius busted it apart. That's good to know.
Tell us your name.
Correct is right.
O'Neill Simon.
O'Neill Simon. Well, big up yourself, O'Neill. You are correct today. You have the bragging rights all the way until Monday next week.
Okay.
All right, have a good one. All right, y'all. That's how we do it. We have to push it forward. Giving you that thought, though, because I think it's just such a nice thought for the day. There's only one thing more precious than our time, and that's who we spend it on. Love it. 16 minutes on to the hour of 7 o'clock. That time check came to you. Compliments Grace Foods.
Solar lights are back in stock and will be available for purchase at Southern Electrical. Here is a list of the solar lights that we offer. 200 to 300 watt intelligent floodlights with camera, 300 to 500 watt solar street lights, 60, 100, 200 and 500 RGB solar floodlights, 100, 200, 300, 500 solar floodlights, solar garden lights, 25, 40, 60, 100 and 200 watt solar floodlights, 3, 7 and 10 watt solar wall lights, motion center garden lights, motion sensor floodlights, 30, 60 and 90 watt solar street lights with accessories, 5 watt solar wall lamps, 40 and 60 solar street lights, and 100 and 300 solar floodlights with battery power display. Now available at Southern Electrical, Dusty Highway, St. George. Visit our showroom today.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
A former government minister and businessman is questioning the security of Grenada's court system as he expresses concerns on the outcome of the Alexander Clark appeal case this week. Rena Thomas reports.
Finley St. Louis, a local businessman and former government minister, is airing his concerns with the recent happening within the legal system and the outcome of the Alexander Clark case in the Court of Appeal. He is now questioning the security of the court system in Grenada and its ability to implement effective justice when transcripts are going missing and convicted murderers are walking freely due to technicalities.
How many more such cases that were on that laptop that was thrown? How many more convictions that probably persons convicted will get off because that laptop or the computer or whatever has disappeared? And eventually they will get off too, because if it happened once, if this is the way it's going, it means that it can happen several times in the future. The fact is, the system is not secured. It seems to be there for Tom, Dick, and Harry to go in and do whatever they want with the system.
Alexander Robert Clark walked out from His Majesty's prison on Tuesday, a free man, due to the loss of transcript within the Supreme Court registry. In 2016, he was found guilty of non-capital murder and was sentenced to 67.5 years in prison for the death of his then 27-year-old wife, Nixian Clark, after he led police to a shallow grave where her body was found in a suitcase. St. Louis says that Grenadians need to wake up and demand security when it comes to our judicial system.
It has affected me in such a way that I thought I should make this statement to the press so that our Grenadian people will become aware of what's happening so that we can get protection. Because something like this having happened, none of us are protected. We are not protected in any way. When something like this will happen and one can get scot-free from a jail sentence that they had for a crime that obviously was committed, and indeed they got off after doing a few years.
He hopes that such a case as Alexander Clark will not be repeated in his small country.
I never believed it was possible for somebody to get away from a case like that, where it was clear, in my opinion, that this man had committed the crime. For the body of his wife to be found in a shallow grave, in a suitcase, how how can we as Grenadians accept something like this for our legal system? Something has to be wrong. And I honestly hope that there will not be a recurrence of something like this to have happened in our country anymore.
Attorney at law Anselm Clouden, who represented Clark, says proper securing of legal files is one of the issues that must be taken seriously within the legal system.
It has arrived for us to be more careful, more meticulous in the way we treat legal documents. They're highly sensitive, and they ought to be kept in a vault, not lying around in some cabinet. You keep them in a vault, and we're in the age of technology. You have certain residuary backup mechanisms to ensure that if you have a break, if you have a hurricane, if you have a flood, earthquake, and certain things, a damage, you still have access to certain things in a vault, in a secured building, in a secured place.
For GBN News, I am Rena Pett-Thomas reporting.
Improving energy security and reducing carbon emissions in the fight to keep 1.5 alive was the goal coming from COP26. The question, how can Grenada benefit from financing for renewable energy investments from the ECCB, is the highlight of this Jared Joseph report.
Grenada in 2021 was at 1.5% installed capacity for renewable energy. A major motivating factor now for Grenada and the region for increased investments or speed up the transition to renewable energy is global fuel prices. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is seeking to aid in addressing the issue of reaching net zero targets by tripling the capacity for renewable energy for OECS countries, including Grenada, within the next 5 years. ECCB Governor Timothy Antoine notes that part of the initiative is establishing a renewable energy infrastructure investment facility.
And so that facility that I mentioned is intended to help sort out any of the policy and regulatory gaps, standards and others, and then financing. Because we could do all of the regulatory and policy work if we don't have financing to actually do investments in renewables. Renewables are not cheap. The prices have come down. Of course, now with this supply chain disruption, some prices have gone up. But prices have trended down over the years. But you have to have the requisite financing to be able to actually make the investment.
Governor Antoine adds that they are seeking to mobilize resources on behalf of member countries by building on commitments made by the United States to the region in terms of renewables.
So there are some initiatives on the way, because the frustrating thing about it is that we have heard of climate funds and the availability of grants and stuff, resources, but we are not accessing those resources. The Caribbean is not accessing those resources. We've heard of green bonds, but when you look at green bonds are not being issued in the Caribbean. Mexico, Brazil, maybe Argentina. So that's Latin America, not in the Caribbean. We have to change that. So there is a big effort on the way to try to mobilize resources. Because let's face it, not even the multilateral development banks by themselves can meet the funding challenge, the infrastructure deficit that needs to be filled.
The ECCB governor explains that the major setback for ECCU governments currently is having to deal with the immediate issue of inflation, which is limiting the progress in renewable energy. Renewable energy accounts for 10% of installed capacity in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Other news, 17-year-old Abel Mark is no stranger to the camera. He has shown Grenada he is a resilient young man who has overcome much despite his challenges. He's just begun another chapter in his life as a first-year student at the TMI Show Community College. My colleague Rena Pett-Thomas visited Abel and has this report.
Abel Mark is now a graduate of the St. Mark Secondary School and was successful in obtaining 8 of 10 CXC subjects. The 17-year-old says that he was a little disappointed with his results as he hoped to obtain at least 9. He indicated that he will make another attempt at math and economics in the future. Abel spoke about what it was like preparing for exams.
preparing for 6 years, it was tiring because I had to stay up late studying, and I know I could have stayed up more to push more, but at the end of the day, I do it. I did good, but could I do better? I was looking for someone, but it didn't come. So.
The vibrant young man says that it is now officially 4 days since he started his journey at the T.A. Marisho Community College with his major in arts and design and environmental science.
To be honest, what I really wanted to do was graphics, but in Msy.Chrissy you can do both of them at the same time. I wanted to do more the hand, like drawing on paper, and more using the computer to do graphics. But since you can do both of them at once, I had to pick one, so I ended up picking arts. But I tell my mom I would have go back for a second 2 years again and do the design part.
Abel, who is still a little shy, explains that he has not made friends yet, but is optimistic that this will change soon. When asked about any challenges, he said that moving around when it rains is not an option for him, as he still moves around on his knees.
When it comes to Msy.Chrissy, well, yeah, a lot of walking. So, since I didn't make friends as yet, it'll be hard for me. I got to wait until outside dry, and then I could go in classes. My next challenge is my bag, because I have a problem with my back, so holding the bag, and plus I have to climb up steps. One step at the climb where they do have railing, so that will be a problem with my back and my bag. But other than that, everything good.
Planning to have his own graphic and design business is this teenager's future plan as he strives to be independent. But this is not Abel's greatest desire. He hopes someone out there can still help make his biggest dream come true.
Biggest dream is to walk. I just want to walk. Yeah, I want to walk on my 2 feet. Anybody yet reach out or anything, I really concentrating on me back and my chest. I just want to walk on my 2 feet. So if anybody has help, just me 2 feet and to walk on.
Doctors told Abel's parents that he would have a lifespan of 12 years. In February of 2023, he will be 18 years old. For GBN News, I am Rena Pet Thomas reporting.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Reporting the news from Television Center, representatives of Spice Mass Corporation will be heading to Tobago at the end of October to promote Spice Mass and Grenada during the neighboring islands' 2022 Carnival. More in this report.
A 12-member delegation from the Spice Mass Corporation will leave Grenada for Tobago's Carnival from October the 28th to the 30th, 2022. This is part of a carnival exchange launched by the SMC and the Grenada Tourism Authority in conjunction with the Tobago Carnival Committee for the promotion of Spice Mass and Grenada during the 2022 carnival period. CEO of Spice Mass Corporation, Kelvin Jacob, speaks about their planned trip.
Some may ask, well, why Tobago Carnival? Why not Miami Carnival? Or why didn't you go to Northern Hill Carnival? Well, cost being a factor, one, but also the platform is there, the stage is there, the opportunity is there to showcase our traditional aspects of Spice Mass. Because this is what Tobago's Carnival will be about, the traditional aspect of Tobago's cultural art form. So these cultural exchanges would give us a more organized platform, a more structured platform to showcase our carnival, to showcase some of the products of Spice Mass. And this time we are zeroing in on the traditional aspect of Spice Mass because this is our unique selling point for Spice Mass now, and we want to portray that.
This year, Tobago is holding its first carnival under the theme Ritual Revelry Release. This carnival is branded as a liberating festival of cultural expression and freedom for creative constraints, celebrating emancipation of unbidely energy. To complement the carnival team, the SMC's delegation will showcase Grenada's traditional jab-jab, veko, and shotney masquerades, along with our reigning road match and groovy monarchs.
The artists that we are going to be going with, remember that Tobago Carnival Committee, they were here for our carnival and they saw what we had to offer. They were impressed by Jab King. They were impressed by Crave's performance. Crave being the reigning groovy monarch and Jab King being our reigning road match monarch. They want to see them down there on stage and they are willing to work along with them to get them to perform at the various events put on by the Tobago Carnival Committee. The Jab Jab in costume on television, speaking about the art form, speaking about why we have these drum patterns, why we use the shell, why we have the spelling of the jab. So they are going to understand the root of our traditional jab. Likewise, we do the same thing for the veko and the shotney.
Besides participating in the Tobago Carnival activities, the CEO says the delegation led by him will conduct radio and television interviews to promote the Spice Mass brand and Grenada as a carnival and vacation destination. The delegation leaves on October 28th and returns on November 1st, 2022. For GBN News, I am Rena Pet Thomas reporting.
Members of the Royal Grenada Police Force embarked on training on board the USNS Burlington. Christina John was on board the vessel.
Earlier this week, a number of Grenadians have expressed concern about the purpose of this ship being docked in our ports. Well, earlier today, GBN got the opportunity to tour the vessel and to find out the actual purpose for being here. The USNS Burlington, originating out of Virginia, USA, is on a 6-day mission to Grenada. While here, they will engage over 30 members from the Special Services Unit, Fire and Customs Departments of the Royal Grenada Police Force in training. Christopher Martinez, officer in charge on board the USNS Burlington, went into detail.
The mission here is to enhance our partnership and cooperation with the country of Grenada. So we're here just kind of doing security drills with some of the local military and police, as well as doing community relations events. We went over tactical team movements, went over active shooter scenarios and how the United States military trains to combat a situation and how the special services units train to the situation as well.
Martinez says since the two countries have different methods of their training and handling of situations, he thinks coming together will enhance their collective learning.
Clear that they had training prior before, so definitely was impressed with their level of knowledge in the situations that we had them go through. I think today went really well. So we had a lot of good questions, good training going on with the local police. I think overall everyone was pretty happy, learned something, came away with this with another perspective to look at. So I think everything went well.
Captain Douglas Cassapant highlighted some of the services they provide, which include humanitarian services.
It's a very unique ship. Our ship is different in that it can change its mission very quickly. So the capabilities are everything from moving armed troops and things along that line in a military situation, to natural disaster relief, evacuations due to natural disasters. There's issues with narcotics and human trafficking. So we have the ability to load other equipment for surveillance and tracking of those things there and help combat those illegal things. In addition, so we will work with your Coast Guard.
The officers did a short demonstration as an aspect of their training. The ship has already visited other countries such as Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, Colombia, Costa Rica, among others. From the St. George's Port, I am Christina John for GBN News.
Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, says his first 90 days in office have been exciting. Having had to put his ministry together from scratch, he notes the task is one of his greatest accomplishments within the period.
The ministry will be about 60 to 70% staff, and that will even get us to being more effective. Ministries are taken up with the line tasks, and they tend to neglect projects. Now MIT will be the hub for projects, and we will be on top of every project to make sure that they are implemented on time, and also to ensure that we do not lose grant funding and so in the process.
Well, as the minister tasked with the responsibility to get things done, he says it is dependent on him to remain on top of things.
What I'm looking forward to is the transformation process in the ministry, because at times we do projects and programs and the people do not understand the reason why we are doing it. And part of the transformation process is explaining it to the people and showing them why we are doing it, so that everyone can buy in and be part of the process together.
Raise it high up the ladder.
I come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. How you come with?
I got marble young man. We know all this thing.
Alright, we go find out. Man, ring big so. How much you bring? 4 down. 4 down.
So we bring 4 down, right?
Yeah. Alright.
Tips, man. Tips.
Tips.
I'm man on tips.
Hey, that man back. Play.
How much you come with, man? How much you come with?
You go with a lot? You go with a lot? I go with 4, 5 and I go with 0. We go with 0, boy?
Nah, I'm a last piece.
You ready?
I'm in last stop.
You have to play for that, No, I go leave one.
Let me play that for 2. Let me attack.
Okay, I'll let you hear.
Alright.
So,
I said now for 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
What you have to say, though? What you have to say?
Yes.
What you have to say? What do you do? People, let me tell you something. No matter where the ball is talk marble, he can't play ball. He knocks soft. He playing sneaky. But in any event, Friday, you will tell us about the game Friday?
Brings.
I don't brings. I better they used to call me G's. Anyway, we go tell you about Friday and we culture. 8 o'clock, join us.
COVID-19 spread
spreads from person to person through the droplets that are produced when someone coughs or sneezes, which makes it easy to spread between people in close contact. Now let's get prepared to stay healthy.
To reduce your chance of catching or spreading COVID-19, practice these simple everyday preventative measures. Droplets can also land on surfaces, so ensure that you wash your hands frequently for a minimum of 20 seconds or sing the happy birthday song twice. Avoid touching your face, especially your eyes, nose, and mouth. If soap and water are not readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with an alcohol content between 60 and 90%. 70% is ideal.
When you cough or sneeze, cover your nose and mouth with a flexed elbow or a tissue. Dispose of the tissue immediately and then wash your hands. If you notice someone has a fever and cough or other symptoms of respiratory illness, avoid close contact when possible. Let's all do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. Our health is our collective responsibility.
This could be out. Brilliant catch. What a stunning catch.
The biggest party in sports, the Caribbean Premier League, is back and live on GBN television. Capture the energy, excitement, and euphoria of the beloved game. 34 matches, 6 teams, only one to be crowned champion. The action starts August 31st and runs until September 30th. Live on GBN television at K105.5 and 105.9. It's no carnival, but you will enjoy the mass.
And you're kidding me! You are kidding me!
GBN's broadcast of the Hero CPL is made possible by Republic Bank, we're the one for you. Habats, National Lotteries Authority, Demerara Mutual Life, Grenlec, Kennish Trucking, Webisco and Bermudas, Consumers Guarantee Insurance, and Had-On Plus.
That's right, it's Friday. No better day. Listen, you should be living your best life for sure. There's no question. All right, you're back inside Good Morning Grenada live with Msy.Chrissy and Gary Mr. Smooth. We are here and it is 11 minutes after 7 in the morning time. We're about to dive into some conversation here. We have guests in studio and they are from the Grenada Association of Pharmacists. We have the president, Mr. Kelvin Dragon, with us, as well as the PRO, Public Relations Officer Marissa Batiste. Good morning to you and welcome to Good Morning Grenada.
Good morning.
Pleasant good morning to your listening audience, also your viewing audience, and the Grenadians in the diaspora. And a shout out to Gary as well. Hey Gary, what's up?
All right, nice. So we are here, and of course, we probably have never heard of the Grenada Association of Pharmacists. You know, some people aren't sure. Okay, didn't know you had an association, right? So tell us, give us a little backstory of, you know, what is the Association of Pharmacists? What do you do?
Okay, well, for the persons who are more golden in age, they would know the Grenada Association of Pharmacists as the Grenada Pharmaceutical Society. Now, that is ancient. It's I think it was established somewhere in like in the 1930s, so it has gone really far back, but it has been recently reconstituted, and we now carry the name the Grenada Association of Pharmacists, and that has been in existence from as far back as maybe 2000. We had quite a few presidents and so, but pharmacists are generally very reclusive. We're very silent. We're in the background. We have a huge part to play, but we are not out there. Our job requires us to be very confidential, so we're not as outside as most persons would like to be. We are intending to change that, to become a little bit more accessible, a little bit more vocal, and that is the main aim of the Grenada Association of Pharmacists, to assist in engaging the public, bringing pharmacists together so that we can standardize our practice and the way we engage with the public.
I like that, and I'm sure the PRO would have a lot to play in ensuring that we know a lot more about the association. So hats off to you for, coming back into the limelight, if you should say that, so that we learn a little bit more about what your mission is. And tell us a little bit about the job of a pharmacist, because I know a lot of youngsters listen to the program and they may also be interested in this as a career choice. So what does a pharmacist do?
Okay. Pharmacist is someone in the healthcare team that's responsible for delivering the medication. We accept the doctor's prescription, we read it, ensure that we label. Counsel is a big part of it sometimes. Counseling the patients as to how they should take their medication and the importance of taking it as prescribed by the doctor. And we also give a lot of over-the-counter recommendations because we are the most accessible healthcare professional. A lot of people would come to us because it's free, and they would come in and get their over-the-counter recommendations. If we cannot handle it, we'd advise that they see the doctor, the other person on the healthcare team.
Okay. Now, I like that you mentioned that, and I know you want to focus a lot on medication safety. So talk to us about some safety tips when it comes to medication.
So I'll just chime in here and heave in a bit. This year's World Pharmacist Day, we're going to be recognizing it on the 25th of September this year. And the theme is Pharmacy United for a Healthier World, in action for a healthier world. And our primary focus is on medication safety. And as my colleague and PRO would have just highlighted, pharmacists are very accessible, but we're also the specialists on drugs. And as a specialist, there are certain requirements, there are certain things that you may have that the average person wouldn't. And so our primary function, even when delivering medication, is to ensure that persons have those medication and they're able to use it safely, because one of the fathers of medicine, I think his name was Paracelsus, a Greek physician, he says that everything is poison. Nothing is without poison, and it is only the dose that makes it either poisonous or safe. And so because we are the specialists there, we have to ensure that persons receive adequate dosing. They know exactly when they're supposed to use it, and that would be our primary focus this year, in ensuring that persons receive excellent care but also receive the proper medication they're supposed to receive and how they should be using it.
Very important. I mean, talk to us about the importance of, dosage and following dosage, and also not using somebody else's prescription, because we know that happens, right?
But I'll refer to you, Marissa, and then I'll assist you.
Okay. The importance of using your medication as prescribed. Now, when you go to see your doctor would prescribe the medication that's best suited for you and the dosage that's it's also best suited for you based on calculations or whatever. Sometimes if there's a dosage we might see that might not be suited based on age or weight or so, then we'd contact the doctor. But the doctor would generally do their best and select the best therapy for that particular diagnosis. It's important to not use anyone's prescription because you don't know exactly what has happened to you. Now, you can have a fever and I can have a fever, and it might be caused by two different things. So it's not useful. It's just as a reference that everyone might understand. It's not right to just take any other person's medication. Now, because I use amlodipine to control high blood pressure, that means you should use amlodipine as well, because your blood pressure might not be treated by the amlodipine. So it's very important not to just use anything or anyone's prescription for that matter, because it might not be good for you and it can have detrimental effects in the long run.
Right.
Yeah. As we speak to dosing here, it's a common phrase we use in the pharmacy culture, but persons may understand things like milligrams and ml and so on. That's very important because drugs in liquid forms, they carry the dose milligrams. milligrams per ml or milligrams per DL, depends on the volume. And so for an adult who may have to use an oral liquid preparation, the amount of ml they would have to use to get the adequate dose for them would be different to a pediatric or a child. And so it's important, if you have your medication, it might be Panadol, it might both be Panadol, but the adult doesn't want to just take the children's medication and continue using it because it may be what we call subtherapeutic, and the child doesn't want to use the adult preparation because it may cause an overdose and they may start experiencing severe effects or adverse effects. So it's very important to take your medication as prescribed, but also use the medication that was prescribed to you, and don't share medication, even if you're in a household where the medication may be prescribed for more than one person.
Wow, that is so good to know. And you mentioned confidentiality earlier. What steps is the association taking and throughout different pharmacies in terms of ensuring that medications and prescriptions are confidential, but also the transactions when you come to the pharmacy is confidential?
Yeah, well, confidentiality is paramount in the medical fraternity. It's not isolated to just pharmacists, doctors, nurses, even orderlies within the practice. They have to be confidential because remember, you're seeing persons at one of their most vulnerable state. However, in the pharmacy practice, we handle confidentiality based on prescription. So the message being transferred from the doctor to the pharmacist is written in a special language that only persons trained to understand those languages can have. So that's a barrier
and
for
special handwriting.
Well, yeah. The handwriting is very special. Not in all cases, it's yeah. But the handwriting definitely helps as well. So that even if you would have lost your prescription, the average person wouldn't say, "Hey, Msy.Chrissy is using this." So the pharmacist would.
So you're saying that doctors are specifically writing with bad handwriting?
I think they just have bad handwriting as maybe because they don't use pens and so as much. We are trying to work towards that as well. We're going to be going digital where things would be transcribed on or printed out on paper.
Okay.
But the coding that we use, which we refer to as pharmacy language, that helps so that the average person wouldn't just be able to pick up a prescription and determine what a patient is using. That's one way. Also, if you walk into a pharmacy, you would see that the dispensary is further away from the general items. And so if somebody comes with a prescription and they need that confidential service, they're away from the general population in the pharmacy. And then we transcribe the information on labels and we hand it directly to that customer. So it's not handed to the cashier or to a customer on the floor to give it to them. It's handed directly to them. We give them their consultation in that private area, and then the medication is placed in a bag, and so they can go and purchase, make their payments with a slip of paper. So we do all of that to ensure that the information is only transferred between the doctor, the patient, and the pharmacist.
Excellent. Well, that's good. I know you also wanted to focus a bit on this term called polypharmacy. What does that mean?
Right. So polypharmacy doesn't have a set definition. It can use different definition, depends on what area of polypharmacy we're dealing with. So for example, polypharmacy could mean a person taking multiple medications to treat the same condition. So for example, if I'm diabetic, the doctor may prescribe Diamicron, he may prescribe metformin, he may prescribe Janimet, and I'm using all these three medications to control a single medical condition. That can be referred to as polypharmacy. It can also be a person using more than 5 medications to treat different conditions. It happens generally in the older population because they may have chronic issues like asthma, arthritis, cardiovascular diseases like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and so they need multiple medications to treat those varying conditions. The reason why we wanted to highlight this and medication safety is because we see that when persons have to use multiple medication, they become at risk to varying issues. Number one is non-adherence, and non-adherence simply means I have to take so much medication every day. It's overwhelming, it's frustrating, and sometimes they just say, I'm not going to take it today. You have issues like adverse drug reactions because there are drugs that interact with drugs, and so we may see them having issues with that as well. And then the adverse effects of multiple medication on what we call the anatomy. So the kidneys might be overworked, the liver might be overworked, and so there's a myriad of issues that can be quite a challenge for patients using their medication safely. And so we really wanted to highlight that today. one of our objectives as the Pharmacy Association, as we indicated, was to ensure that persons have safe access to medication, but also to ensure that they know how to use their medication, when to use their medication, and if they are using the correct medication. And what we see with polypharmacy is that sometimes persons, they may buy some metformin, let's use that for example, and they go to another pharmacy and they may get glucophages, 2 different brands, and they have all these medications. Sometimes it's the same medication they're using, metformin twice, just brand and generic, to treat the same condition. So there's so much things that can happen within there. We wouldn't be able to discuss it all today, but what we are planning to do is to engage the public more in something that we call pharmacy fairs. We have one scheduled either for later this month or next month, and what that would do is give the public the opportunity to access pharmacists in an open space, and they can walk with the medications that they have at home, and we'll be doing some screenings and what have you. But I'll let Ms. Ambati speak a little bit more to that.
Yeah, go ahead. So it asks them to bring in their medications, everything that they have, home supplements, because we know a lot of people would take different supplements for different things, even if they're using their prescribed medication. And this is also serious because you need to consult with the healthcare providers before you do that.
Definitely.
So bring in their supplements, their medications that they may be using at present, everything in one. So we do a consultation, we check for drug interactions and so forth, and we inform patients, because a lot of people are taking medications and they do not know the use of it. They are going to different doctors, they are not stating their prior histories, telling the doctors what they have used, because some of them simply do not know. So they might end up with the 2, as Dragon pointed out, 2 same things at home, or some things that they shouldn't be using together. And this is very important to be. It's very important, and it has to be curbed here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And what about contraceptive as well? I know that is part of your focus as you recognize World Pharmacist Day.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we wanted to touch on the contraceptives. The contraceptives are available here easily, right? We wanted to speak on the importance of not just walking into the pharmacy and buying a contraceptive because my friend uses this and it works for her. My friend uses this and it helps her gain weight. My friend uses this and some people supposedly say it increases sex drive or so. So I want it as well. It is very important to not do that, because the birth control should be prescribed by a doctor initially.
Yes.
You have to have a conversation with the doctor.
Definitely.
And they would determine which one is best and which dose is based on family history, based on a lot of other health factors, such as if you had any blood clotting history or so forth. So it's very important not to just walk into the pharmacy and ask for a birth control.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, as to speak on the topic of the emergency contraceptive here, we as pharmacists have noticed an increasing trend in some patients.
The jargon morning after.
Yes.
Maybe we should use that name. So
yes, the morning after, or as a patient of mine would say, the Friday night special.
Wow.
Right?
Nicknamed it now.
It's a nickname. Okay.
So it's very important. These are the things that we would be focusing on. The importance of not taking this as a normal, regular birth control, because some people are taking it so frequently and disrupting their menstrual cycles and so forth, and they. I think it's a lack of the education on the topic. So we really have to focus on it.
As you mentioned it, is there a minimum period that you should not take 2 back to back?
Okay.
But it's not just the minimum period only. Well, maybe just some history on the contraceptive in general, because contraceptive dates far back as far as 2000. It was introduced in the market as a way of regulating menstrual issues. So maybe excessive menstrual flow, pain in regards to, we should say, irregular periods and so. And one of the side effects of the medication was that it temporarily prevented pregnancy when that individual would have been on it. And so we saw, well, with medication, side effects based on what they are can be used. The medication can be rebranded and then used for that specific effect. So the medications was rebranded and they were used as contraceptives, in this case now to prevent pregnancy. But there are different types of contraceptives and they have different functions. So for example, the morning after is what we refer to as an emergency contraceptive, and that's used to prevent, as it was a contraception, that's the fertilization of an egg by a sperm. Generally based on the menstrual cycle, persons have periods where they're ovulating. And that is the time when they are, how should say, most susceptible, if you want to use that term, to become pregnant. And so it is in that area we refer to as a danger area, and where a morning after really and truly should be used. So a morning after really and truly should be used basically once in a month based on your menstrual cycle. But persons use it every morning after they would have had intercourse, and that's dangerous because remember we said the dose determines whether or not a medication is safe or harmful.
Excellent. Now tell us about, I'm saying excellent because I like the initiative in terms of informing people about these things. And, you know, if you don't get it from your doctor, which in some cases you're not even going to your doctor, you're just running to the pharmacy. Tell us where people can find you as you recognize World Pharmacy Day. What are you having an event coming up?
Right. So we have been recently reconstituted, reformed. As you said, you haven't heard of us much, and we are taking some steps to become more accessible to the public. The majority of the pharmacists in Grenada are part of the association. They're on par with what we are trying to do. So your regular pharmacist who you would go to get your prescription medication, you can access them. You can consult with them for these types of information. And as Marissa would have said earlier on, pharmacists are the most accessible healthcare professionals. So the pharmacists that you go to in your community, even in the hospitals, they are able to provide information for that. So there is not a lack of accessibility there. But in the coming months and years, the association would be more engaged with the public, again, through our pharmacy fairs and so also through our social media page. So persons can contact us there and get the relevant information to make, good life decisions.
Excellent. Do you have a family fun day coming up?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that before you go.
Okay. We're having a family fun day on Sunday. That's World Pharmacist Day, September 25th. It's a day for us to relax and we haven't seen some of our colleagues in a while.
COVID.
And yes, and the association has just been reformed. It's very important that we get on the ground and see each other. We're having a general fund day. So
this is for pharmacists.
Yes,
okay.
A general fund day.
Yeah.
So we'd have the sporting events like the cricket, the basketball, the three-legged race, and so forth. It's a form of social interaction that we need.
Yeah, boy, that's good.
We need it.
That's really good. Hats off to you and your team for revitalizing the association and doing such a great job. And I wish you all the best. Have fun on Sunday.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing all those gems with us this morning. And I think you've left us a little bit more informed, and I'm sure you're going to see people coming and asking questions at the various pharmacies as a result of this interview. Thank you so much, Marissa and Kelvin, for stopping by.
Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
All right. This is Good Morning Grenada. We'll be right back with more.
Summer.
Do you know you can lower your electricity bill by changing the way you do laundry? Front-loader washing machines are designed to reduce electricity and water consumption. When upgrading, buy with this in mind. You can also lower your electricity bill by doing full loads of laundry, using the sunlight to dry your clothes, and ironing in bulk. As an individual consumer, I cannot impact global fuel prices. However, I can ease the burden of rising fuel rates by changing the way I do laundry. What can you do?
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are superb distributors, wholesalers, and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
I want to be free as can be.
The
They say that freedom is the ability to fully experience life. The GUT Credit Union is giving you the freedom to choose. Get a loan for any purpose, whether it's consolidating your debt, buying a vehicle, owning your home, back to school, or a dream vacation. We offer competitive rates with terms and payments that fit your lifestyle. Call 440-1354. Email loans@gutcu.com or visit go.gutcu.com/freedom to start enjoying your life, your money, your way. Promotion ends September 30th, 2022. Special conditions apply. More freedom, more choices. GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
You know, one day I woke up and, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Gary.
I'm right here. I ain't gone nowhere.
Right, I'm trying to call you. You're not answering your phone. I'm just joking.
Oh, okay.
I was just going with the theme of the song. Oh, you actually check your phone?
Yes, I was like, what missed call you talking about?
No, I was just playing around with you as it relates to the song that Talpri is singing in the background there. All right, y'all, we're back inside Good Morning Grenada, 24 minutes on to 8 o'clock. Msy.Chrissy, Gary, Mr. Smooth in your company. Did I say after 8 o'clock? On to 8 o'clock. Yes. We're on point.
Yes. Let's not confuse the public now.
Honestly, if I had to still read analog clocks, I would be a lot slower in telling time.
Analog?
Yeah.
That's the era I grew up in, so better used to read an analog. The long hand, the short hand. Yeah.
I think especially the ones that do not have the numbers on it. So if it doesn't have the numbers, I'd be like, what?
Nah, man, that comes off second nature to me, man.
Right, yeah.
The sticks on numbers don't have to be there. I can read time on a blank watch face.
Nice.
Even once the hand is there.
Once the hand is there. Well, it will have to be there, otherwise it won't be a clock anymore.
Exactly. Moving on. All right, we're moving on here. Good. You know, somebody's going to message us on Facebook just now and say, all they talking about thing, I like get to the topic. All they don't say talking idle chatter. All right, tell me about all that. I want to commend Andy Williams and the efforts he's making to beautify not just this community, but efforts are in place to beautify and develop the lagoon area. All right, he made specific mention of the south where he is from. All right, that his plan is to make South St. George the most beautiful area in Grenada, because that's where he from. You understand? So but that lagoon area right there, I commend Andy Williams for the initiative to beautify that area. All right, we're going to get some more information on that in this news clip. When we come back, we continue with more talking points. All right, let's check it out.
Before the South, I would love to see my constituency being beautiful and being number one. And it is not a nice sight to look at the lagoon, and especially this is where we have the Kiwani James Boulevard. And I'm saying, Kiwani has done tremendously well for the country, and we should reward them with something that is beautiful.
That was MP for the South, Honorable Andy Williams, as he outlined some of his plans for the development of his constituents and constituency. He said he has already held discussions with the Physical Planning Unit, who will assist in the process.
I met with the residents in Springs last Saturday, and we put a committee in place, which is called a beautification committee. And ideas will be brought to the fore as to how we can beautify the lagoon area. And the Physical Planning Unit will work with us to also get rid of all the old stuff and so in the lagoon, so that the lagoon can be a place of beauty once again.
Minister Williams says his aim is to revive the community spirit within every village in his constituency, and one way of doing so is through the transformation and formation of community groups.
So what we are doing in the South as we speak right now, we have groups that are representing their communities. So on Saturdays we'll have Saturday meetings where we have community meetings, and people will volunteer to serve their community. Now the MP cannot be everywhere, so these people are the ears and the eyes of the community, and they are the ones that will come to the fore and tell the MP as to what the community needs and wants. In that case, we will ensure that things are done in a timely and speedy manner.
During an interview with GBN, the minister highlighted some of his plans for his constituency. His plans also include bridging the generational gap through the involvement of retired individuals who can still make a contribution to the development of the younger generation.
We have just secured funding for the basketball court, tennis court, netball court. That's a court in the Grandlands area next to the cemetery. We have just secured funding for it, and we want to get it refurbished or revamped and to get the whole area transformed by the ending of the year. We just got some sewing machines from someone in the diaspora, and what we will be doing is that we will be having persons retired, or retired persons or so, people who have skills in sewing. We will have them engage with people in the communities where we will teach people how to sew.
Selena John, GBN News.
We're back. I like it. That sounds great.
Right. Also what came to mind is that area right there is where you would find a lot of tourists gathering and taking pictures and things, and it's with all the different debris you see around the area, all the rubbles, it's unsightly. Mm-hmm. So again, I commend the minister on his initiative. Remember the Prime Minister said, he's the Mr. Get it done, get the job done, So I think he's staying true to that task to this point. So kudos.
Yeah, that's good. I remember, because I grew up close to that area, and Lagoon Road would be that place where we would go for a walk on a Sunday evening, you know, and sit on, you remember those, I don't know if you remember, but there were some concrete benches on Lagoon Road. So I would walk with mommy and we would just go and enjoy the moon and the stars and chill, maybe have some ice cream and then walk back home, you know. And it's quite a lovely, I'm glad that it's called now Karani James Boulevard instead of just road. You know, boulevard suggests something else. So it's nice that there is some focus on that boulevard in terms of further beautification, because it's quite lovely even just naturally. So it's good that, you know, there's that focus there. I'm quite interested to know more about what the court complex is going to be transformed into on Grandance. I'm saying Grandance Beach because it's practically on Grandance Beach, where you have the tennis court and the basketball court, you know.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. All right. Government ministers are rushing to avoid another Montanier-like situation from the development. A portion of the road on the Western District seems to be slipping, which has the residents in the Brisbane community overly concerned, and rightfully so as well. And of course, the ministers traveled to that area for a site inspection, and indeed that is worrisome. And again, I would like to commend the government and those overseeing that project for being proactive to nip it in the bud, in other words, so that this does not fester into a bigger, God forbid, Montanier-like situation. All right, so let's take a quick look at that news clip, get some more information on that. And when we return, we're also going to dip inside of the hot topic. And you know what that topic is, all right? Mm-hmm. All right, the hot topic. We're going to save that one for last.
Steamy.
Let's get into that road slippage issue that is seemingly developing in the Brisbane area.
All right, so we're just having a little technical difficulty there with that clip. We'll try again. We're talking about the slippage, the sign of some slippage inside of Brisbane. So let's go over to it now.
On Wednesday, MP for St. George Northwest, Jonathan Lacrette, Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, and other officials from his ministry visited an area in Brisbane, St. George. Minister Lacrette said residents brought to his attention a portion of the road along the Western Main Road that needs urgent attention.
Well, I'm no civil engineer, but by mere observation, the road is compromised, and if something is not done very soon about the infrastructure, the possibility exists that we may have another Montanier on our hands. So as a result of that, I believe that a feasibility study was done for the entire Western Corridor. It's to look at the study right now and to ascertain whether or not this aspect of the Western Corridor was also taken into consideration as it relates to infrastructurally adjusting the road, and then we move on from there. But
MIT Minister Andy Williams says they will have experts visit the area as soon as this Friday to conduct assessments to determine what is causing portions of the road to sink.
What will happen, we will be in contact with some of our geotechnical engineers that will come and do a proper assessment of the area, and then we will know how we proceed from here. But all in all, this is just a preliminary visit where we are just observing and see what is going on based on what the villagers, or based on the concern of the villagers. It is too early to speak and to assume or suggest that this may be a Montanier type situation. And that is why we want to bring the geotechnical engineers to come and to make a proper assessment of this area, right? And then we will take it from there. But
Minister Williams says attempts were made to remedy the problem before. However, much more needs to be done. He also identified a manhole in the road and is not sure if a seepage is contributing to the problem, hence the need for a proper assessment, he says.
I've seen the patches in the road, which seems to have been done a little while now. And yes, some of the villagers, they showed concern, and just yesterday one guy said to me, Andy, before they could have passed in the back of this area here to go down to the beach. He also said there was a silk cotton tree somewhere in the area that they could have hung on to go down to the beach, but the tree is no more. And we see that from where we are looking here now.
Bit into what's going on presently in Brazan.
Yeah. So again, I commend the ministry and the individuals for their proactiveness in that regard. So let's see what comes out of that.
Indeed. And we're going to take a quick break before we head over to the topic that we will be heading into as it relates to missing computers, missing information in the courthouse. Yep. All right. Well, I don't know if it's in the courthouse per se, but we'll give you this quick update as it relates to Republic Bank. Customers of Republic House, Melville Street, Grenville, Guam, Sates, and Carriacou branches, your new Republic Bank International debit card is ready for collection. You can collect at upstairs the Grandans branch in Steeles Complex Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. At the Grenville branch Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And from October 3rd you can collect at the Carriacou branch Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. After the 1st of November you'll be unable to use your current ATM One card, so be sure to collect your new card before then. Visit republicgrenada.com for details. Republic Bank thanks all customers for your cooperation during this time.
Reggae.
One day I woke up and they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop. Look. Hand out. Eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Safety is always a top priority, and this is no different from the COVID-19 vaccines.
The COVID vaccines that we have available are very effective and safe. and it is very important for elderly persons and frontline health workers and other frontline workers to get it, because these vaccines protect you from becoming ill if you get COVID.
As COVID-19 vaccines are approved for use in the general population, monitoring for safety continues. Each COVID-19 vaccine goes through the same clinical trials and rigorous study as with all other vaccines, with the focus on safety and efficacy.
Nothing goes into the nucleus, nothing affects the genetic code of the human. It is a very safe vaccine. This is a vaccine that we all need to take because it will keep us safe.
Vaccines bring us closer. Choose to get vaccinated.
Five things you need to know about self-isolation. Stay home. If you are told to self-isolate, it means staying at home, not going to work, school, or other public places, and you should not have any visitors. Separate yourself. If you live with others, then you need to stay in a well-ventilated bedroom with the door shut. If you have to share a bathroom, then use it after everyone else. Don't share towels and toiletries, as this may put others at risk. Call ahead. If you develop symptoms such as a fever or cough, then seek advice first by calling the Ministry of Health's hotline at 538-4787 or
Welcome back to Good Morning Grenada. And I know you have a hot topic, so you have to give us a quick synopsis because we only have about 5 minutes left inside of the show.
Just before we jump into that, just a quick thing. The Movie Palace has got a Customer Appreciation Day, September 24th, 2 for 1. That's on Saturday. Make sure you guys go on down and be a part of that. You can win yourself a chance to see The Woman King by hanging on to your ticket stubs, all right? So that's this Saturday, 2 for 1. At the Movie Palace. You all be a part of it. Okay, so let's jump straight inside of the discussion quickly as best we can. Jerry Edwin says that the end result, which resulted in the result of convicted murderer Alexander Clark, is just a tip of the iceberg. You know, in this whole fallout of this missing computer, stolen computer, or whatever it is. All right, we're gonna jump into that news clip. We're gonna cut it short, but we're gonna just get a little snippet of it, and when we come back, we'll chat some more and possibly take a few phone calls before we close it off here this morning.
A local businessman and former government minister is airing his concerns with the recent happening within the legal system and the outcome of the Alexander Clark case in the Court of Appeal. He is now questioning the security of the court system in Grenada and its ability to implement effective justice when transcripts are going missing and convicted murderers are walking freely due to technicalities.
How many more such cases that were on that laptop that was thrown? How many more convictions that probably persons convicted will get off because that laptop or the computer or whatever has disappeared? And eventually they will get off too, because if it happened once, if this is the way it's going, it means that it can happen several times in the future. The fact is, the system is not secured. It seems to be there for Tom, Dick, and Harry to go in and do whatever they want with the system.
Alexander Robert Clark walked out from His Majesty's prison on Tuesday, a free man, due to the loss of transcript within the Supreme Court registry. In 2016, he was found guilty of non-capital murder and was sentenced to 67.5 years in prison for the death of his then 27-year-old wife, Nixian Clark, after he led police to a shallow grave where her body was found in a suitcase. St. Louis says that Grenadians need to wake up and demand security when it comes to our judicial system.
There you have it. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, you're live.
Morning, Chrissy. I just wanted to, first of all, that there was an error. I call it an error in that clip where you're talking about the possible Molyneux. Type slippage in the future, where the reporter described Mr. Lacrette as the MP. So this is not correct. Maybe it's a mistake. We know who is the MP. The MP is Honorable Keith Mitchell, Dr. Keith Mitchell. So, I listen to GBN as the only station, and you have to always give accurate information. And that I was trying to call all right, because you have that needs to be corrected.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so he's supposed to be the caretaker, right?
Yeah, we usually want to call him that, but we had to be accurate.
Thank you so much.
In terms of the clip for the Jerry thing, we need to have a bigger conversation on that, because it's less than we want. It's more than
2 minutes is not enough.
Yeah. So
thank you so much. Yeah, we'll try to roll it over perhaps sometime next week. Gary, what do you think?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, because we know it's not adequate, and hopefully by next week we'll get more information as well.
Yeah, it's a continuing and it's a developing story, so it's very dynamic.
Indeed. Any comments on your end?
No comments. Well, I've been going through the comments here, nothing specifically related to that, so a bunch of comments on the Facebook Live, but as you know, relative to the story.
Yeah, this is very concerning, and I am quite. I'm looking forward to having a little bit more on the topic. There's someone on the line. Oh boy, you have about 10 seconds. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Can you give us your contribution quickly?
Yes, I'll try to be quick. If I have to start looking for, the culprit, who might have stolen that computer, I won't start looking among the general population of Grenada. I wouldn't start looking among our Toms, Dicks, and our Harrys.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for calling. All right, y'all. At this time, we have to lock it off. It's Friday. Have a great one. Thanks so much for joining us on Good Morning Grenada. Gary?
Have a good one, guys. Hey, catch me over on Hot 98, okay? And let's continue the discussion there.
Indeed. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday right here.